Hi, today is March 1st, 2026, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 330 for the year, Marched. They marched. Some were named Marcus, or Marcia, or Marchand, or Mark, but not all of them had names with the March sound, or the Mar sound, or even with the M sound. One was named Patricia, for example. Maybe they marched because it was the 1st of March, or maybe it was the 1st of May, and they marched because it was May Day, or maybe it was March, and they marched not because it was March, but because they fucking felt like it. Whatever the reason, March or not, they marched. Poem number 331. Good morning, March. Another month begins. It's exciting, even if it's not necessarily exciting in a good way. But think of how Fred Astaire, in Swing Time, sang those Academy Award-winning words by Jerome, Kern, and Dorothy Fields. Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. The world is cold, March, but you're looking good this morning, and I'm feeling a glow. So good morning, March. Let's see what you got. Poem number 332. March 1st, ask questions later. They had a lot of questions, but they decided to march first. And they were hungry, so after the march, before asking questions, they would have lunch first. And then they figured a couple of drinks would probably be called for. So after the march and after lunch, before asking questions, they would have drinks first. And they also thought they ought to get to the bank first before it closes. But then they realized it was Sunday and the banks were closed. But then they remembered ATMs. So after the march and lunch and drinks and the ATM, they would ask the questions that they had, if they could remember them. Poem number 331, The First Day. The first day of the month is also the first set of poems for that month's books. Lately I've tried to be attentive to that and not just throw together a willy-nilly jumble of nonsense for the first day, but I'm not going to write 7 poems about March or the 1st of March. I'm going to write 4 poems introducing the month, and then 3 poems that are just a willy-nilly jumble of nonsense for the first day. Poem number 334, The Temple of the Paper Pavilion. It's a good thing that Yukio Mishima didn't call his famous novel The Temple of the Paper Pavilion, because that shit would have burned up after a few days without any, spoiler alert, human intervention whatsoever. Poem number 335, Bodies in Motion. The bodies weren't just in motion, they were flying around all over the place. Human and animal bodies. They were alive and in no great danger, but if you didn't look all around you when you're walking outside, a body was liable to hit you on the back of the head or in the belly or anywhere, really. Sometimes the bodies were in slow motion, and that made it easier for them to dodge, but sometimes the bodies were whipping past at speeds up to 30 miles per hour. They were all wearing the really soft, puffy suits, so when they did hit you, it didn't hurt them or you. Still, those bodies in motion were a goddamn nuisance, and it would be good if they could just chill. And the last poem of the day, poem number 336, Voices. It's not the worst thing when there are people out in the hallway speaking with voices that are too low and too muffled for me to make out. It is far worse when I hear voices and there is no one there. All right, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you.